What a day. Hello, friends. Uh, I am kind of just recovering from driving today, which isn't it crazy how driving for a while wears you out, even though you're sitting in a car. I had to drive to Idaho Falls to get my phone repaired because apparently they told me that the screen was cracked on this guy. Um, and it's really weird because if I cracked it, I must have cracked it previously and it was working fine and I was using it. And then all of a sudden it started flashing on me. So I don't know why. Like if I had dropped it, it was a while back. So I'm not going to say I've never dropped my phone, but it was working fine. And then all of a sudden it freaked out. So anyway, they got that fixed, but it was kind of an interesting day. I'll tell you about my day. So, yeah, it's about a 3 hour drive from where I am. And although I'm the kind of person that when the GPS pulls up the route and says it's going to take you this long to get here, I go, want to bet? Yeah, sometimes I do have a tendency to, you know, want to go a little faster. I try not to be too bad, especially when I left this morning, it was still a little chilly. And there were some parts where it was, I was worried about maybe there being some ice on the road, but there wasn't. So, and it actually got up to dang near 60 degrees today. So it was nice and warm. In fact, I had to take my sweater off. And when I came home, I threw on a t-shirt because I was wearing a tank top underneath my sweater. I was wearing a cardigan and I had to take that puppy off when I was out because that was too hot. I actually turned on the AC in my truck. So I drove there, and the first thing I did was go to the phone store, and I did it through the store because of the warrant or the insurance. So I do have insurance on my phone. Uh, and so that was the only place anywhere near where I'm staying to get it fixed. So I did that first, and then they told me it was going to be 2.5 hours, which they were busy. There were a lot of people coming in there. Which do that many people break their phone? I guess they do. Um, so after that, I was like, well, there's all these stores around here. There was a mall across the street. I'm like, I'm just gonna go shopping. Um, my husband, I don't think he watches these videos, but if he does, I mean, I'll talk to him later anyway. I was actually a pretty good girl. I wanted to not be a good girl, but I was a pretty good girl. The first thing I did after I dropped my phone off was I walked over to Staples and I got some pens for work. I love these erasable pens that I keep buying. I have all sorts of pens. I have like pens everywhere, and I have all sorts of colors and types of pens, and I love pens. But for work, I found that my favorite ones are the erasable ones because fellow nurses, I don't know about you, but I do carry a paper brain with me, and inevitably something gets screwed up. I don't know if you've ever like started to write the wrong patient information. Like you have your patient sheet with your different patients, and you start getting a report and you realize you just wrote that on the wrong person. So I got tired of whiteout and all that junk. So, or like just throwing it away and starting a new brain because that's lame. So I started buying these erasable pens after another nurse had them, and I was like, ooh, I like that. So anyway, I use them a lot. The ink lasts about 5 minutes though. So I do buy more. Usually I get them on Amazon, but they had them at Staples, so got some there. Then I walked into Ulta and I actually wanted some stuff at Ulta. I didn't need it necessarily. I mean, kind of, but it was stuff that I could live without. But when I walked into that Ulta, dang, the perfume smell. It was like they broke 100 bottles of perfume and they were pooling around in it. And the second I walked in, the smell just hit my face. And then the lady, there's always somebody out there, and they're like, "Hi, welcome to Alta. Can we help you?" And I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, I'm probably not gonna be able to stay in here." And sure enough, I took another deep breath and realized I was probably gonna end up having a headache and an asthma attack. So I made a beeline right back for the door. So I didn't get to go to Ulta. Not that I really needed to spend. money at Ulta, I probably would have spent, I don't know. Can you get out of Ulta for under $100? Probably not. So I left there, went to a shoe store, and I love shoes, but I didn't buy any. I looked. And then I got my truck and I drove across the street to where the mall was, and there was a Ross. And so I looked around there for a little bit. And I did buy two t-shirts. Not a big deal. So then I was going to go, I was thinking about going to the actual mall part, but I didn't. And I wanted lunch, but I wasn't sure if I should go to Walmart first and go shopping, or because I had a list of stuff that I wanted to get at Walmart because there's no Walmart anywhere near here. That's the closest one. So it's either there or going to Missoula. So I had a list of stuff I wanted to get at Walmart, but I knew there was a Chick-fil-A in town, and there's not a Chick-fil-A in North Idaho. So whenever I travel somewhere with a Chick-fil-A, because I do like them, I know they're not the best food ever, but it's decent, chicken sandwiches. So, um, although today the fries were not crispy, they were super busy. This Chick-fil-A was, oh my God, busy. They had three lines for the drive-through. They had like their regular drive-through line, which was full. And then off to the side in the parking lot, they had like these two other lines where they had like little drive-through tent things, and you get to the front of the line and there's a person there taking your order. And this is like 100 feet from the actual store. So they have two people there taking orders from the car. So there's two lines over there, and then you drive around in a little U over, not into the drive-through, but next to it. So they have the actual drive-through, and then these two other lines that um you drive over there, and then they have people that walk your food out to you from the restaurant. It was insanely busy. But right before I actually got in the drive-through line, like I pulled in, I was about to pull into the drive-through line, the phone store texts me that my phone is already ready. And so I'm glad I went to Chick-fil-A instead of Walmart because that was going to be a longer trip, right? So, um, and I stayed relatively in the area of the phone store. I didn't go very far. I don't know Idaho Falls, so I was trying to stay relatively close to where I was. So I went and picked up my phone. Then I ate my food. Then I did my Walmart run. Um, and I put gas in my truck. Yeah. Oh, I had gotten gas yesterday. Filled up before I went to Idaho Falls, and here in town at the time when I bought that gas, and I don't know if it's because I used my credit card. What I don't know what the deal was. I used my Exxon card, and it was like 3.98. And then today, every gas station I saw, both here and there, it was 4.19. 4.19. I don't know when was the last time I paid $4 a gallon for gas? Because even the highest I'd seen gas in Idaho was not, I don't think it ever got to actually $4 by my house. I think we've always stayed right under. I can't remember. Anyway, that was painful. So hopefully I don't have to drive that far again. I told the guy when I dropped my phone off, I said, yeah, I'll be staying here in town, and so the phone has to be done today because um I've got to stick around here. I'm not going to drive back to, or, back to Salmon and then back to Idaho Falls. So they were very nice to have it done quickly. I didn't think it would be done that quickly. It was like an hour and 15 minutes. It wasn't 2.5 hours like they told me. So that was kind of neat. So yeah, that was it. That was my little fun run to Idaho Falls. Um, so have you ever been on a car trip and you're driving along and there is absolutely nothing around, right? Like today, there was nothing. There's absolutely zippo along the road from Salmon to Idaho Falls. No gas stations, nothing. But I'd have never been this way before. I don't know what's up ahead. So I'm driving along. You feel like you have to go to the bathroom. And you're like, oh, I'll be okay. There's got to be a gas station up here somewhere. And I see a sign up ahead that says there's some town 12 miles ahead. So I'll be fine for 12 miles. But I've got to go. So, the urgency is getting kind of more. And that 12 miles comes up, and you're like, okay, we should be coming out to the town. It was one house, like one building, and what looked like it might have been a store, but it didn't look open. There was no gas station. As far as I could tell, there was no bathroom. That was it. That was the entire town. So I passed that, and I end up pulling over on one of those turnoffs on the side of the road. There's nothing else there, and there's no trees. There's no nothing. It's pretty barren land. It's cold. There's a river, but there's no cover or anything. And I'm sitting there. I pull over and I look around, and I'm like, I can't get back on the road and try to make it any further, or I'm gonna have an accident in my truck. So I ended up hopped into my truck, opened up the back door, like on the passenger side, both the back door and the front door. So I gave myself a shield in between the two of those and had to drop trowel on the side of the road. So not my favorite thing in the world. But I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm glad I did that as opposed to waiting because it was quite a while before I actually did get to where there was a gas station. Of course, by the time I got there, I'd already gone. I didn't have to go anymore. But I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it that far. Um, but it was an uneventful drive, at least. I saw no wildlife for a dead fox on the side of the road. Poor fox. Um, yeah, oh, there's a couple dogs in the road. Poor dogs. But there was no, they were alive. They were running around. Someone, I think, was in the house or near where they were. But yeah, it was not a terrible drive. It's just a little bit long, and when you're by yourself, um, it's a little more boring. If you have a road trip companion, that's one thing I really do miss about my daughter playing softball and all the road trips we used to do. God, we had so much fun on some of those trips. Some of them were like super stressful, and I'm sure she would tell you like, because she didn't like road trips as much. She didn't like to be in the car for very long. She would always be like, "How long is that? Oh, it's gonna take forever." But she spent all of her time on her phone with her earbuds in and listening to her music or Snapchatting her friends. Um, we went on several trips, and in fact, we went through Idaho Falls on the way back from a trip to Las Vegas. So I was trying to remind her of that because I texted her like, "Hey, I'm in Idaho Falls, and where's that? You've actually been there." Um, but yeah, it was so much fun when we used to go on all those little road trips. We went to Tri Cities a lot. We went to Western Washington, like I said, Las Vegas, Oregon, Montana. And those were the days. And usually it was just her and I. When she was younger, we would take the whole family, but the boys didn't really like to go. And it got harder to bring the boys. And also with Sean and my work schedules, it's hard for us to get time off together. And his work schedule is kind of funky. Whereas my work schedule when I was at my old hospital would be 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 7 off. And I could either, if the tournament fit into my 7 days off, I didn't even have to ask for time off. Or I could usually rearrange my days to where I didn't really have to, like, I didn't really hardly ever use PTO. I almost always was able to just rearrange the days around a little bit, to where I would have like a little bit longer stretch of days off. And so I was able to go on a lot more trips than I would have if I worked a regular 9 to 5 job. And I love that about, when she was playing and I worked at that job. Um, but yeah, those road trips, those memories. So that's my fun for the weekend. I will probably stick close to here tomorrow. I don't know what the weather is tomorrow, but if it's anything like today, I'd like to get out tomorrow. By the time I got here, the sun was going down. I would have maybe stayed in Idaho Falls a little longer had A, I probably would have wanted to spend more money and that probably would have been great, but two, I didn't want to really drive at night. Um, these are, like I said, dark, desolate roads, and there's plenty of wildlife and cattle um, along the way that could wander out on the road. And I don't want to end up hitting one of those at night. And so it just felt better to me to be home by dark. And I did get home just in time. So that's good. Uh, yeah, I came and put my stuff away, and now I'm just chilling. I'll probably grab something to eat here from the fridge. 'Cause I've done all my shopping for the week, I think. I'm good. I didn't buy avocados though. That's what I wanted was avocados. So, work-wise, I work my 3 days a week, and I haven't picked up any extra shifts here. They hadn't asked me, but I wouldn't necessarily mind picking up extra shifts. Um, but looking at the schedule, it's interesting to watch different hospital dynamics as a traveler than you watch as when you're like an employee at the hospital and you're more invested. So I could kind of watch these things a little bit more from the outside and see, like what's going on um, with some of the dynamics between the people and different things. I seem to get along more with one of the charge nurses than the other one. We don't not get along, me and the other one, but for some reason, I'm scheduled to really only work with the one that I kind of get along with better, and I don't know if that was done on purpose. I don't know if this other nurse doesn't like me. I don't know. I am scheduled to work 1 day with her this week, and then um, it's the other nurse the rest of the time. So I don't know. Anyway, um, so yeah, I will. Sorry, I had to pause it real quick. There was a bug just out of the corner of my eye, and I had to go kill it and flush it. So I'm sorry if you hear any of the gurgling from the restroom near me. Um, anyway, so yeah, I will go work my 3 shifts this week, and then it's kind of a countdown as far as this contract, to the beginning of May when that contract is over. And then we'll see um, if they're going to go ahead and renew this. I haven't heard word back. I mean, it was just last week though, and we have several more weeks before this contract is up. So whether or not this one gets renewed, I do love being a nurse, but I don't know. There's just some thoughts sometimes about what else there is to do in this world. And I haven't even been a nurse that long, which is kind of what the sad thing is. I love bedside nursing, but my body doesn't always love me. And with the way the world is right now, just the craziness, the healthcare, you know, world has just turned upside down. But I know most of the world is turned upside down. It's not just us, but so. Well, I hope you are having a great weekend. Let me know, are these videos too frequent? I don't know. There's hardly anybody watching the dang videos, but um, I'm having fun. And even if this is only for me, it's kind of like maybe if this is you know, diary, a video diary for so I can look back later and say, oh yeah, that was that period of time when I was doing travel nursing, and I'm sure it'll still be there unless some crazy thing happens. So take it easy. I will catch you on the next one. If you'd like to, like and subscribe down there. Otherwise, take it easy. Don't feel any pressure that you have to. Have a good one.